let's go. I got a vision I see in my head, a melody buried deep into my soul. They call us crazy, we cutting the edge, unlocking the future and letting it go. This is a calling that's higher the time we decided our stories are gonna be told. This is where legends are born, we paving the road, a future that favors the bold. Break the rules, break the laws, this is the moment we change it all. Break the rules, break the laws, this is the moment we change it all. Yeah, greatness, yeah, it feels like greatness. Woo! Greatness, yeah, it feels like greatness. Legendary in the making. Reach out and we take it. About to emerge, we on the verge, and it feels like greatness. Something coming, I can feel it. Deep down in my spirit. Revolution, it's a new day. Time to redefine the limits. So vivid, I can see it. So loud, I can hear it. So they calling me a madman, but the future belongs to the fearless. Break the rules, break the laws. This is the moment we change it all. Break the rules, break the laws. This is the moment we change it all. Yeah, greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Woo! Greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Legendary in the making. Reach out and we take it. About to emerge, we on the verge, and it feels like greatness. Greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Woo! Greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Legendary in the making. Reach out and we take it. About to emerge, we on the verge, and it feels like greatness. This is the truth, into the light. Taking our dreams and we bring them to life. This is the truth, into the light. Taking our dreams and we bring them to life. Yeah, greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Woo! Greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Legendary in the making. Reach out and we take it. About to emerge, we on the verge, and it feels like greatness. We about to set the tone, we about to write the code. Yeah, we writing the code. Yeah. We on a new elevation, we came here to shatter the mold. We gon' shatter the mold. Yeah. We about to set the tone, we about to write the code. Yeah, we writing the code. Yeah. We on a new elevation, we came here to shatter the mold. Yeah. I know you hear it, I know you see it. We got a fearless, we got a genius, we got defiance, we got a beacons, we got a true believers. Yeah, greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. Woo! Greatness, yeah, it feels like greatness. Legendary in the making. Reach out and we take it. About to emerge, we on the verge, and it feels like greatness. Yeah. Woo. Greatness.
Red alert, John, shine a light down. On the front lines of my mind now. Biding my time on the high ground.
smell what The Rock is cooking. The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. You got your rules and your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see heroes dying, I taste blood that's trying, I feel tension rising.
Hello and welcome to the WWE Veteran Talk Show with Bruce Rock Jones and
Sean Randy Smith. Let's bring you our pre-show to the biggest party of the summer, known as Summerslam, which will come at you this Saturday at the time of this recording from Detroit, Michigan at Ford Feild.
this will, surprisingly enough, be WWE's first show to come at us from Ford Feild since April 2007 with WrestleMania 23.
Yes, all the way back then.
So we have 8 matches to kick off with, starting with a possible suicide mission.
Yes, as the American Nightmare will take on
The Beast, Brock Lesnar.
oh Jesus, in a match they're calling Rhodes versus Lesnar 3.
Well, that's because it is Rhodes versus Lesnar 3. This whole thing started the night after WrestleMania, where instead of teaming with Cody Rhodes against the remaining fragments of the Bloodline, which we will get to,
Yes.
Lesnar decided to destroy Rhodes in the middle of the ring.
He did.
That then led to a match at Backlash, which Cody Rhodes escaped with a win.
Pretty much.
That then led to a rematch at Night of Champions in the Kingdom of Blood Money,
Sorry, Ranger.
in which Lesnar won. Cody then decided he wanted to face Lesnar again and issued another challenge. Cody Rhodes at this point took a little bit of a detour facing Dominic Mysterio at Money in the Bank because, of course, Brock Lesnar couldn't be bothered to get off his ass and fly over to the UK.
Yes, thanks, Lesnar.
But then on the Raw after Money in the Bank, the challenge was accepted, and Cody Rhodes has had a few beatdowns between then and now. The most recent of which happening on Monday's Raw.
Mm-hmm.
The next match is a Money in the Bank rematch, but also a match which has been 6 years in the making, because it was at Summerslam in 2016 when the Universal Championship was created,
Yes.
and Seth Rollins and Finn Balor were the wrestler to be crowned the first champion. Finn Balor won the match, but got injured by Seth Rollins in the process, being forced to vacate the championship. And really, between then and now, Finn Balor has never really come close to holding a world title again.
And it all blames it on one man, Seth freaking Rollins.
So, Finn Balor has made it his mission to take the World Heavyweight Championship from Seth Rollins and fill out the Judgment Day's goal of holding stuff. Yeah, but there's a slight caveat we should put on this, because of course Finn Balor's Judgment Day partner, Damian Priest, just so happens to be holding the men's Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yes.
The fact that, side note, Dominic just so happens to be the NXT North American champion at the moment is beside the point. With a little bit of help from Mami and the rest of the Judgment Day. Hopefully this match will be better than the Money in the Bank match, which for all intents and purposes was a bit of a letdown.
It was.
So, going back to the events of Night of Champions again, Asuka would miss Bianca Belair to win the then Raw Women's Championship.
And there was me and my colleague thinking, oh no, we're going to have an obvious title split. That was not to be the case.
Yes, because ever since after WrestleMania, when they did the draft, we had the Raw Women's Championship on SmackDown and the SmackDown Women's Championship on Raw. So we're like, okay, at some point they're just going to trade titles back. They did something which made a bit more common sense.
Yes.
Because Roman Reigns was presented with a new undisputed Universal Championship.
It was.
Then, but a week or two after that, they presented Asuka with a new Women's Championship, which is basically the exact same title, just on a white strap. And the Raw Women's Championship was renamed / went back to its original name when it was first introduced as the WWE Women's Championship. Then on Raw, Rhea Ripley was given a white strap version of the World Heavyweight Championship, and the SmackDown Women's Championship became the Women's World Championship.
Indeed. And now, Asuka will be defending that championship against Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. But again, this has a slight caveat to it, because the women's Money in the Bank briefcase holder, Io Sky, will be watching in the wings.
Yes, but that in itself has a bit of a issue to it, and that issue is Bayley.
Yes.
It is definitely sense in keeping that fair. Also, the story behind this is that Charlotte made her return since the TV for the first time since WrestleMania a few weeks before Money in the Bank.
Yeah, something like that.
And basically says she's not going to wait in line, she is the line. Now this kind of pissed off Bianca Belair because she'd been promised a rematch.
She had.
So first they did Charlotte versus Asuka. That ended in chaos.
It did.
Then they tried doing Bianca Belair versus Asuka. That ended in another botched finish, chaotic finish. So what you do, you put all of them together into a triple threat match.
Pretty self-explanatory, but now we move on to a match that's probably more likely going to be the main event.
Oh, I think this is the main event. So, again, we go back to Night of Champions. We really go back to the beginnings of this was at WrestleMania, when the Usos lost the tag team titles to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
They then lost the rematch, which basically said Roman Reigns to say, well, if you two can't get the job done, me and Solo will.
And then we go to the Kingdom of Blood Money. Saudi Arabia.
The main event of Night of Champions, in which it looked like Bloodline / Roman Reigns and Solo had the match won, or were in control. The Usos tried to come and help them because the referee was down. Let's just say Roman Reigns did not take too kindly to that.
No.
And whilst berating Jey Uso, turned around and ate a super kick from Jimmy.
He did. He absolutely did.
This ultimately cost Roman and Solo the match, which led to Bloodline Civil War at Money in the Bank.
In which the Usos were able to win.
In which Jey was able to pin Roman for the first time in 3.5 years.
Something like that.
Doing a callback to a move which Roman Reigns has done a couple of times with low blow kick out.
Pretty much.
2 seconds.
And then we head forward to SmackDown. Where it's a bit more interesting. And then, of course, Roman Reigns and Solo decided to attack the Usos, which takes Jimmy out of the equation and effectively writes him off TV by splashing him through the announce table, which was done at the hands of Solo Sikoa. So then, some weeks later, Jey Uso gets his revenge in the same night on SmackDown, the same night that Jimmy gets written off, attacking Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa with the steel chair. Calls out Roman Reigns and basically says, I want a championship match or a shot at your Universal Championship, Roman. So then the contract signing was made a couple of weeks later on SmackDown. But there has been an added stipulation to this match. Not only will this be the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match, but under Roman's rules, this will be a Mortal Kombat. I mean, Tribunal Combat. And not only will it be for the Undisputed Universal title, it will also be for the recognition of being the tribal chief.
Yes,
So Roman Reigns has not only put that on the line, but he's put that on the line as well.
yes, now, people are probably thinking that Jay doesn't stand a chance.
But,
Well, considering that this whole Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso rivalry/feud is what ultimately started the Bloodline storyline, I think it would be a good way to end it if Jey won. Doesn't have to hold the title for long. But if WWE's plan is to ultimately finish Cody Rhodes' story with a rematch from last year's WrestleMania, so yeah. What's next? Oh yeah, Logan Paul decided to show up again.
But this time he has beef with Ricochet.
How we didn't see this coming, I don't know, but I would imagine the idea of this match was probably first talked about or brought up when they did their spot in the Royal Rumble match.
Yes, the double clotheslines off the springboards.
Then, of course, they interacted in the Money in the Bank ladder match,
With their infamous table spot.
which is ultimately what has led to this singles match, with a brawl happening backstage at the O2. I would like to see Ricochet win, but I'm also thinking it's been a while since Logan Paul won a match.
Yeah.
And as much as he may be a pain in the ass, he can actually wrestle, put some good matches, and is going to win a match here and there.
Pretty much. Then we have a match for the Intercontinental Championship as Gunther puts his title on the line against Drew McIntyre.
Again, a story which kind of dates back to WrestleMania.
It does.
When Gunther, well, technically dates back to Clash at the Castle.
In which you were in attendance for.
There, Gunther defended the Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus. At WrestleMania, he defended against Sheamus and Drew McIntyre in a triple threat match, in which McIntyre took the pin. That following WrestleMania, McIntyre would disappear for a while.
He would.
It was reported that he was unhappy with creative, but then following Gunther's successful title defense against Matt Riddle at Money in the Bank, who should appear but a Scottish warrior? And of course, you can imagine in the UK, McIntyre is going to get a massive pop.
And he did.
Hitting the Glasgow Kiss and the Claymore on Gunther. And then McIntyre challenged Gunther to an Intercontinental Championship match.
Yes.
It then came out, of course, that McIntyre's time off following WrestleMania was to do with healing some nagging injuries.
Mm.
It has been 13 years, just over 13 years, since Drew McIntyre lost his first Intercontinental Championship. Which
Yes.
I believe, if he wins on Saturday, could be the longest time between title reigns, or one of. Next, we go to a friendship turned bit of rivalry. Now, why does that sound so familiar?
Oh, quite a few times we've had this in the past, haven't we?
Okay, so ever since early in the year, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler were a tag team. So
We
much,
were indeed.
so much so that they ended up winning the women's tag team championships when Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan had to vacate the titles the first time around.
Indeed.
They then unified those with the NXT women's tag team titles. But then, at a title defense at Money in the Bank, Shayna Baszler decided to turn on Rousey.
Literally out of nowhere, shocking not only the Ronda Rousey, but also Liv Morgan and the rest of the universe in the attendance at the O2 Arena in London.
Allowing Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez to win the titles. Too bad they lost them a few weeks later to Collins.
But that's another story for another time.
So then, of course, these two then engaged into a bit of a personal rivalry.
Mm.
And this will not just be any match, because on Monday's episode of Raw, it was stated that this match would be contested under MMA rules, or a mixed martial arts match, in which you can only win by knockout, submission, disqualification, forfeit, or going to a referee's decision. In other words, all the ways you would win a match in the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
And if we've had a few occasions in the past where they've tried to mix wrestling with UFC people,
Mm-hmm.
most of which have been done disastrously bad. But if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it with two people who have been trained and arguably two of the best to ever do mixed martial arts.
And then finally, out of nowhere, I know this is not WrestleMania, but bear with us, because we have a SummerSlam 20-man Battle Royal.
Yes, coming out of the sponsors of SummerSlam, a Slim Jim SummerSlam Battle Royal. I thought, this can't be as bad as a Mountain Dew pitch black match.
Oh no. Oh no.
Out of the 26...
Oh, come on, no.
Out of the 20 superstars in this match, we have 6 confirmed.
LA Knight,
LA Knight, Sheamus, Tommaso Ciampa, Shinsuke Nakamura, and both members of Alpha Academy in Otis and Chad Cable. Yeah.
and obviously there'll probably more been announced on tomorrow night's edition of SmackDown.
If WWE had not essentially stopped doing matches on their pre-shows, I would say this match has pre-show written all over it.
Pretty much.
So, we'll quickly run through the entire card again, starting with Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar.
Seth freaking Rollins will defend his world title against Judgment Day's Finn Balor.
Asuka defends the Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair in a triple threat match.
Roman Reigns will defend not only his Undisputed Universal title, but also his recognition as the Tribal Chief against Jey Uso in Mortal Kombat. Tribal Combat.
Ricochet will take on Logan Paul.
We will also have Gunther defending his Intercontinental title against Drew McIntyre.
Ronda Rousey will face Shayna Baszler in an MMA rules match.
And we will have a SummerSlam 20-man over the top rope Battle Royal.
So there's official matches currently on the card. Of course, we could add 2 more with a possible 2 Money in the Bank cash-ins.
Yes, we could, potentially.
But as of now, that's how it stands. And SummerSlam will come at us on Peacock if you live in the States, on the WWE Network if you're somewhere else, and comes at us from Ford Feild in Detroit, Michigan, this Saturday, August 5th, at the time of its recording.
So join us next week as we bring you our reactions to the biggest party of the summer, known as SummerSlam.
Until then, he's been
Sean Randy Smith, and he's been
Reese Verloc Jones, and we shall see you next week.
for now.